That's right. The fire's in my eyes. Can you smell that? Can you smell it? I can't. I'm congested. I can't smell nothing. But football is in the air. I'm coming to you early because I got a JV game to go to. Then we got high school ball all over the nation tomorrow night. Thousands and thousands of high school will be playing in Auburn and Baylor. Tomorrow night, then the big boys gonna play on Saturday. The big boys gonna play on Saturday. And I tell you, what Bart Scott say? I can't wait. Roll Tide, Alabama fans. Roll Tide to you. Welcome to Tight Sports. This is the Alabama Football Megacast and the People's Crimson Tide Network. Thank you for thumbing over and joining me today on whichever virtual space you have chosen on your preferred device. Come on in and sit a spell. Tell a friend to lock me in. And we're going to talk about the Crimson Tide and some other things today as we get ready to kick off the season. But we're going to really keep our destiny and our desires at the forefront. That is of the Crimson Tide. Share a pound with a brother. Now drop that pound right there on that subscribe button as you settle in, and add a little pressure to the little button there and hit that share button. You share this show with your Crimson Tide family and friends, then we're going to zoom right to 1 million subscribers in no time flat, because that's what we're supposed to be. I was born to do this. And if I successfully stimulate the happy juice in your gray matter and make your funny bone jiggle, you can please let the algorithm know what's going down over here and poke that like button right in the eye. Poke it in the eye. Folks, I am under the weather. My son came in. First of all, I couldn't taste my wife's chili. I said, I ain't going to say that. I ain't going to say it. But then my son said, we got people on the team with strep throat all over the place. And we maybe have some COVID cases. I was like, good Lord, I need to get tested. I haven't done it, but I could taste the chili today. I could taste it today. So maybe it was quick. I don't know. My son's sick. My other son's sick. My daughter's sick. My wife out of town, so she ain't sick. She missing all this wonderful sickness. But we're going to try to manage through because I'm congested. And I still got to go out here to this football game. And I get to watch my son take out the frustration on some other people's children. At least I hope. If not, maybe he get folded like a suitcase or like a cheap suit. And I get to giggle anyway. Getting right to it, folks. Tim Keenan is out. Tim Keenan III, apologies to his parents, is out. But Alabama fires still burns. Yeah. Well, the fire still burning. Keenan, he suffered a ankle injury in practice, and new guys got to be ready to step up. And I think they're ready, to be honest. I think they're ready and they're hungry. The challenge was put out there in January, and I think they are ready to go. Of course, he is a team captain, so the boys always praise his impact and his work ethic. He said he feel bad for Tim, but because he worked so hard for it. But hopefully he'll be able to rejoin the Tide. And let's see, they're looking at the Georgia game. He has to have what they call the tightrope surgery. I know Kenny Pickett was with these Pittsburgh Steelers. He had tightrope surgery for one ankle before he left Pittsburgh. Then he had tightrope surgery again once he got in Pittsburgh and started hitting, but he didn't stay out that long. Probably didn't stay out long enough for a quarterback. But we wish Tim a speedy recovery. But now we got to talk about those reinforcements. James Smith has been, swapping over his position at tackle. He can play the nose guard as well. He'll have to lead the teammates out there. 6'3", 296. He's explosive and agile. Out of Montgomery, Alabama, not too far down the road from where I grew up. And we expect him to start, of course, and be a huge disruptor in the interior. People have been raving about his maturity and his off-season growth. Next up, we got Jeremiah Beaman. He's probably going to get the start. Folks. This man has bulked up. They say with muscle, I don't know, 265, 314. He played well during the Michigan Bowl last year. Probably had the better defensive game in the front seven out of everyone. So maybe we can keep it going right here against Florida State, because let's be honest, Florida State definitely is not Michigan at this point in time. Kane Womack said he feels like a veteran player out there, but remember, he's a red shirt sophomore or freshman, because he played in the bowl game. I don't know how they counted that, but he's expected to get that start. And Alabama line's full of blue chips and depth, and it's time for the young players to step up and seize the moment. And it's the type of pressure we need to build champions. Now, I don't want no more pressure. No more pressure. This is enough to start the season. We already down a leading running back. We're actually down a lineman, although they were kind of Caden Roberts and Gino and Dewberry was going back and forth for those guard spots. So, but we counted down this third starter. I don't need no more pressure than this. This diamond is shining enough, sir. Let us move on. But it's time to seize the moment, man, and keep it going. So the board mentioned that also Edric Hill is another option to rotate in. Edric 6'3", 275. He's not as big, but he is quick and smart. He earned some praise in the spring. He's already treading upwards. Of course, you got the transfer Kelby Collins in there. Oh, man, he's very versatile, selling into the defensive tackle position, looking for a lot more consistency, but he has been fighting for reps. Some lesser-known names, Isaiah Faga, he is up to 296. You know, little spark plug dudes, you know what I'm saying? Polynesian power, you know what I'm saying? He does have a bigger body, and he's a quiet grinder, they say, with upside. Now, the thing is, you got to throw those bodies out there and rotate them because maybe they don't do their best 30 plays in a row. But maybe they'll be very good. 5 on, a series off, 2 in, 2 out. Who can do the 40-yard sprint, play 2 plays and come back out and not lose steam? There's going to be a lot of rotation in this Womack defense. Next up, you got London Simmons. Now, London Simmons, I've been waiting on this. True Femin, 6'3", 303, 5-star. He graded out well in camp, and Keenan III himself praised this man's progress. So you never know. And somebody that I've been waiting on, Steve Bolo Mbumwa. I hope I didn't pronounce his name wrong. From Cameroon via Canada, JUCO transfer from Quebec. He could see his first collegiate action finally this weekend. My God, I hope it's time because this dude is a devastator. Go check out the film. It ain't my film. I put a little sound effects on there, but some of them sound effects, probably you can hear them over the sound effects on the field of people screaming for their babies and their children to come off the field. The message from the boy is confidence, not panic. It's confidence, not panic. Our guys will get out there and fight, he says. They know how to play the game. This isn't a setback. It's a spotlight. Alabama's defensive line is stacked with rising stars, and they're about to show the world what it means to be built by Bama. Bottom line. Now we're going to move on to talk about DeBoer's second season. You know, he is having to reshape. Any new coach will have to reshape a program. And 2024 was a very bumpy year. The tide was up, then they were down, then they were out, and then they were back in. So the tide is locked in. They're hungry. They're ready to reclaim its throne. That's right, our throne. The wake-up call was sent very early by the strength coach, David Ballou. He lit the fire up on the people in January this year. And he saw a lack of urgency amongst the players during the season and after. And he just told them, if you don't want to be here, just leave. It was kind of different from that. Jalen Milroe message like, come on, let's in, let's link, you know what I'm saying? Let's get. He like, no. The door is over there. Please use it. You know, Ryan Williams even admitted that they didn't play up to the Alabama standard last year. And they're owning up to it. You know, the first sign of recovery is admitting that you have a problem, and we did have a problem. Now, it wasn't Bama's best, but it was the timing, you know what I'm saying? The games of Vanderbilt, first time in 40 years losing to them, missed the playoffs, the first playoffs. Man, I wanted to be in that first number. You know, outside the top 10, blah, 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 inconsistency. You beat Georgia, then you collapse. You beat Georgia, and then Oklahoma. Forget the Vanderbilt thing. That's almost like a 40-year flood. Oh, I don't live in the flood zone. We don't have flood insurance. They said we have to get flood insurance. Then, you know, things happen. 40-year, 50-year storms, 30-year hurricane patterns. Forget Vanderbilt. Georgia contrasted against the Oklahoma game was stupid. Just plain old stupid. Now, it collapsed against Oklahoma, to be honest. Now, the boy's superpower, if they say he had a superpower, they said it's steady leadership and a big picture vision. Kane Womack says that DeBoer has been the same guy every day. Calm, focused, empowering. His goal, it isn't personal redemption. It's elevating the players and staff. I know this sounds all inspirational stuff. I'm just breaking it down in my own words. Coach DeBoer says, we're not going to let it not be great. That's the mindset. So we're not going to let it not be great. Like, it's great already. Our job is to hold it here, push it forward. That's probably a lot of people don't understand. That's why folks get fired all the time. They don't understand what people are saying, but I understand what he's saying. Ryan Grubb is there as his offensive coordinator. After his stint with the Seahawks, he brings a reunion with DeBoer and that elite chemistry that they had out at Washington. And yeah, it was elite. He's tailoring the offense around Ty Simpson's arm, not just athleticism, which he does possess athleticism. They say he has an arm as well. People keep saying, like, man, I don't know what y'all going to do if your running backs can't run and Milroy ain't there. I'm like, all right, thank you for coming. I don't need to entertain you any further person. Just don't make it. Ty's in his 4th year, and he finally gets his shot after waiting for so long. Oh, so long he waited. Patience. You know, he's accurate. He's poised. He's surrounded by a deep talent pool. Ryan Williams thinks that defenses won't be able to key in because Ty gets everybody the ball. I like hearing that. If you remember that I don't know what year that was. I think about it. My man just signed back with the Raiders. He was drafted by the Raiders out of Alabama. But that year when Kiffin was there, I think he represented like 70% of the pass offense or 80% of the pass offense, 65%. And we just threw it to him, and they just thought in the playoffs, they won't triple team him. Got to the playoffs, and they triple team him, and we lost. I like spreading the ball out. Just because he can catch it don't mean that you should throw it to him all the time. But we don't have to worry about that. And on the defense, we got depth, we got versatility, and people looking for redemption. LT Overton is now a 3-position weapon. Bandit, end, and interior. I know I think he plays better on the outside. I think he got banged up on the inside. We got to be careful with that. The secondary is stacked. Dijon Lee, Cam Coleman, Cam Calhoun, not Coleman. So many Cams. Every time I hear Cam, I think about the Plains. DeMonte Jackson, Xavier Brown, they'll be rotating various spot. Probably going to find themselves in a dime package on the doggone field at the same time with some of these offenses. You just can't leave them, let them rest. Deontay Lawson is back now to being healthy. He's moving well post ACL. And you got to remember, this is a defense that finished 10th nationally in scoring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, you can't get 7, 8, 9, 10. 10th last year in scoring defense. And people was calling for that man's firing before the Georgia game, after the Georgia Tennessee game. I'm like, are you looking at the numbers? The numbers can speak to you if you allow them to. But Womack says, it's time to level up. And I looked it up again today. They were also, I think I bring it up here later, they did very well as far as total turnovers as a defense. I think we were number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the nation. So no more slippage. Lost in the midst, the team didn't handle success well. Great prep for the Georgia game. They were flat against Vandy. Whatever. This year, the focus is relentless. They can't let anything slip. Whatever. I think they got whooped by Vandy, to be honest. I'm not going to say it was like, we weren't paying attention and the truck just ran over my balloons. I don't know. You got beat. And sadly, I'm sad to report, Crimson Tide Nation, the only one current player on the Alabama team has one of the rings from Alabama's national championship. And that is Jamarion Latham, defensive end. And even he says the hunger is real. Just sad, man. That's sad stuff. Go into the chat for a second. Who is it? It's me up in here. What up to you, man? Roll Tide to you. It's me. It's me. Say our little Facebook group is setting on the gold mine. We do a Rush Pro show every week, sponsored by Yellowfella. Okay. Oh no, I don't know, man. You don't think Rush Pro may bring them boys down and get them in trouble? I don't know how you can get in trouble today, but Jim Harbaugh found trouble in this new era. Well, I should say Jim Harbaugh. Whoever the guy that's coached there, he got trouble right now. Brother man got some trouble he got to pay for. He said, we got those minds right. Bama gonna dominate. I am hoping so, sir. Thank you for chiming in. Oh, it's me. Always brings a smile to my face. Now here's the mission. Players are motivated not by critics, but by legacy. That's what Alabama does. Win championships, said, Williams. Did a lot of talking to Ryan Williams. He's happy to talk to you. And the boys' vision is clear. Build a team that fights for each other and never settles. This isn't a comeback tour, people. This is an installation. And then we did the install last year. Now we got to do a culture reset. So Alabama isn't like chasing greatness. It's demanding it. Like, come here, greatness. You know you're supposed to be. Come sit on my lap. Grab my belt. Put your hand in my pocket. Yeah, pull my pocket out. Now hold on to that, greatness. We're about to go. Alabama is just chasing, so that year 2 under DeBoer is I think this is where the fire and some of the smoldering smoke, this is where it's going to turn into a fury. I think people are going to pay for a lot of words that they spoke. You know what I'm saying? But before I get to some picks and stuff, for the first full year of college football, there's a subject that came out in the show I was on last night. Please check it out. It's on my page. I went on to talk to the guys, some of the Auburn guys, and we always get into this thing. And I saw this article, and I figured I'd just use it to kind of set the tone for what I got to say about it. And, this article was saying the reign of the SEC is over after 2 seasons. I mean, that's like telling Patrick Mahomes he washed up after throwing a pick six in the first game of the year. I mean, come on, man. It's a totality to the situation. But, the article is saying that the premise is that the SEC's era of invincibility is over. No longer is the SEC the king of college football because, lost 2 championships in a row. That's right. 20 years plus of dominance is outdone by 2 seasons, according to this numbnuts. Now, the evidence of SEC slippage, they mentioned that nobody's made a title game in the last 2 years. Ohio State beat Tennessee and Texas en route to a championship. Yeah. They got their money up and they got it done. And Michigan beat Alabama, Saban's last year in the semifinals. And apparently that's enough to declare that there's a power shift. You're right. SEC still owns the numbers, man. But let's, just ignore that. Ignore the 16 national titles in this freaking century. For everybody out there that need to count on their hands, a century is 100. It is 2025, of which 2000 counts. That's 25. Divide that by 16. I think you end up with a lot of national championships from one conference. Most first round picks, highest winning percentages in playoffs, bowls, national championship games. Because see, sometimes some conferences make it to the championship game and they don't win. The real issue is depth and roster construction. Everybody's in transition. We're doing it good one way. It changes. NIL, transfer portal, made it harder to, they say, hoard talent. But I see some teams in the SEC that are very dang talented compared to the same old people. So when we get the same old people on the same old level, guess what? Everybody got to start coaching. Coach or die. Players want money and playing time, and sometimes they bounce, but I think people are starting to see the error in their way. So even Kirby Smart admits that rosters aren't as deep as they were when he won his titles. But, it don't matter. Either everybody's going to have just about the same amount of talent or somebody's going to have to coach them up. That is why I really think they brought Kalen DeBoer to Alabama, because of the coaches that they tried to get. Lanning, Kalen DeBoer, they had done, I think, a little bit more. I know Kalen DeBoer, he proven he did more with less quote-unquote talent. He turned people into very talented people or players, except for Michael Penix. He's like he was born ready to play quarterback. Now, the SEC teams and coaches, they got to do some better coaches. Lane Kiffin. But instead of just flexing five stars, as this article says. But it's just a tragedy for the SEC to have all these 5 stars and 4 stars, and everybody says, the Hispanic playoffs is supposed to help the SEC, but it gave other people a shot. Now they're changing the rules because they want to see some more SEC teams, I guess. I don't know. The horror of the competitive football outside of the South. We're just scared of it now. We're just scared. We're scared of what's going on in the Big Ten. This article goes on to mock SEC fans who shout like SEC when Alabama or anybody else wins the championship. They say it's irrational tribalism. Well, it's just really chanting Big 10, Big 12, ACC. It doesn't have that same ring. It's something about syncopation and melody. That's why they chant SEC. And from a football standpoint, we really don't like none of y'all out there beyond the Mississippi and below the Mason-Dixon line. Yeah, I know. I'm a black guy in the South, but football. I told y'all the other day. I don't listen to somebody from New York tell me about college football. It's like somebody just let a fly in my damn house. Big fly, that one that when it go past TV is louder than TV. Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta get up out of here. Schmack, you gotta get you out of here. So I guess SEC pride is both laughable and deeply meaningful at the same time. But you gotta pick a lane. And I just don't understand. I mean, conference expansion, TV deals are flattening the sports out. People are more competitive, but you got to have a good coach. The rivalries are fading. Traditions are eroding, like, Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl don't mean nothing unless it's tied to something. And some other bowls are just useless to me. But you can expand the playoffs. The SEC pride is not just about winning. It's about culture and connection and proving the South can dominate in something. There are other things we dominate in because the nation wouldn't eat if it wasn't for the South as well, for the most part. But it's not that the SEC is dead. It's just adjusting the crown. See, you gotta shift that thing to the right. Sometimes you gotta shift to the left. Sometimes it's a little sunny, you gotta push it down. So we're just making adjustments. And we ain't going nowhere. Alabama, Georgia, LSU still have elite rosters. And in my opinion, so does Texas A&M, Tennessee, Auburn, South Carolina, Florida, and Oklahoma is not exactly fielding a busload of bums last time I checked. The rest of the country is catching up, and it's not surpassing the SEC. The SEC is adjusting. And we still got, a team that's banging on the door to get in. Everybody says South North Carolina's coming. I personally want Georgia Tech in. They say they may bring Clemson in. I don't know. They still trying to. Why do they want to be down with the big dog? Because this is where the big boys play. That's why. The SEC isn't losing. It's evolving. The evolution of the SEC superiority didn't start with Spurrier, Stallings, former snitching, dirty rat fink behind. It didn't start with Urban Meyer or even Nick Saban. This is something that started with Bear Bryant upholding the mantle alongside of Robert Nealon, Wally Butts, Frank Thomas. Ralph Jordan. Go look up your history. Paul Diesel, Johnny Vaught, Frank Boyles, Vince Dooley, and Lou Holtz. Not the Notre Dame Lou Holtz. Go look and see what the Arkansas Lou Holtz did. So give it a few years. When the dust settles, the South will still be serving L's with a nice big diabetic punch of sweet tea to all them suckers who step up. So let's get to these games. I'm going to look at the most anticipated games. Some of them I care about, some of them I don't. Some of them I don't care about in the SEC anyway. Like this thing, Missouri and Central Arkansas. Missouri's favored by 36.5. They will not cover that game, in my entertaining opinion, but they will win because it's Mizzou. They still putting some stuff up. Central Arkansas is there to get that check. That's what they think. But, them first and second quarters in these early games, I have racked up a couple of dollars on those because it's just hard to cover. You're not up to, you're just raring at it. Maybe drinking whiskey can surprise me, but I'm not watching this game, so nobody really cares. They should out depth those guys. They should be better conditioned. They should be able to win that game sleepwalking. So Arkansas versus Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M, why are you doing this to the program? Embarrassing the state of Alabama. They didn't even give these guys a line. They're, the only victory Alabama A&M is going to have on Saturday is going to be finding that stadium and leaving there with the athletic director leaving there with some fat pockets. And then buy them some, I don't know, something. I hope it's worth it. I have found that amongst my HBCUs, when you play these big money games, it destroys your program. Yeah. Leave that stuff to the Ball States and the Bowling Greens. Leave it to them. You don't need your program destroyed. Mm-mm. Got to take a pause for the cause for one moment. I'll be back. Okay, there we go. Next up, you got Auburn versus Baylor. Now, this is going to be an interesting game. It's going to come on right after Westlake Carroll plays such high school. Matter of fact, I think the high school game started later. Auburn is favored 2.5, 3.5. I think they win the game. I think Auburn's going to win this game. They better win this game by like 10. I know everybody say, you know, Baylor has this. They have a quarterback. They got some other people returning, but if there's anybody that can blow this game, it'll be Alabama squad of last year or Auburn this year. Really any of the last 5 years, to be honest. I had a question. Somebody asked a question. So it's me saying, who has the most NFL players? I don't know. Of all, most draft picks is Alabama. I'm not sure who has the most players, period. I will look into that. They putting soft games on Friday with the high school kids. I cannot confirm or deny that is indeed the case. Now, Baylor's defense is softer than a Chick-fil-A bun, but Auburn's run game should be to just run through them. We were talking about this too, like the Big 12, like we can go back and forth a little bit about the Big 10's current domination and versus the SEC. But Big 12, we discussed it. I thought the Pac-12 rather was doing better than the Big 12, but they had some exciting football in the Big 12. I will not deny. But right now, man, Baylor is about as consistent as the Texas weather. Now, coming up next is we got what was that thing just went out? Florida versus, I'm gonna pull this up over here because this computer is tripping. Florida versus some of nobody, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Florida. My notes got all flipped around. It happens. Live YouTube. There we go. Florida, we're playing Long Island. Next. DJ Latway, got to see if he's injured. I want to see how he throws the ball. If I can catch a clip or two of that, I'll probably check it out. The game that interests me is I want to see the guy over there at South Florida be talking all that cash money stuff. He's playing Boise State. That's going to be an interesting game. That's probably going to come on like, I don't know, probably going to come on Jefferson Pilot slot. Do they have a Jefferson Pilot slot anymore? But Boise State is favored by 6.5, and I'm wondering, they're playing down in Florida, and I'm thinking like that guy should have a team good, but I don't know. Boise State has done pretty good over the last couple years. The experts saying they're going to win it, but I just think the guy's an offensive coach. His defense has been a problem, but they played pretty tough. But Boise, when they had Genty, they were pretty good as well with him, and maybe they got another back out there that can make it happen. USF defense kind of is terrible, but I just think they may be able to go back with them tit for tat. So I'm gonna go on a flyer. I'm gonna take that 6.5 and go and say that South Florida's gonna pull this one out. I just don't think that's an easy call. Ole Miss versus Georgia State. Come on now. Now, if Kiffin starts Kiffining, I want Georgia State to win this game. Let's see. Georgia State what is the line? 38? Good. Golly. It would be just lovely to me to see Georgia State almost win this game. But if they could just not lose by 30, not 38, but they could lose, just don't lose by 24. It would let me know that Lane got some work to do. And if they got any work to do, it's probably going to be on defense. But every time they say Lane about to just blow somebody out, it's not guaranteed. That's a lot of points. He may get 36, but I wish Georgia State could pull the upset. I wish they could pull the upset. But Georgia State defense, they can't stop a volleyball from rolling down the hallway. Mississippi State, Southern Miss. Now, this is the game. I have a wager on this game. The great Nick Frazier at Water Cooler Talk Podcast, we have $50, 50 push-ups on the line. He says that Mississippi State is going to go from 2-6 to at least 6-6, making Mississippi State eligible for a bowl game. I do not believe that they are going to have a 200% increase in wins, and most of those wins have to come through SEC teams, at least 3 of them. I can't find 3 teams they're going to beat. I've been wrong before. I don't even think they're going to be able to beat Southern Miss. But I'm going to take the 12 points Southern Miss is getting, and I'm going to hope and pray that Southern Miss whoops that Buki. I mean, they got a chance. The guy was at Marshall. He did real good. He asked for I think he asked for like a $50 raise. And they said, we ain't got $50. He said, peace. Southern Miss put some money into the program. They put some money behind him. And his teams like Mississippi State, that Southern Miss should be able to just pick off. Maybe not this year, all of them, but coming soon. But we don't know. How good a coach is this guy? I mean, this is the kind of move where he goes from winning the conference championship at Marshall. Then he comes down here off of Biscuit NIL, by the way. They didn't have NIL money, but they had this place at Marshall where you could go get biscuits, breakfast biscuits, 24 hours a day. Well, I don't know if it was a 24-hour spot, but all day long, you get all the biscuits you want if you were an athlete at Marshall. So I don't know what kind of deal he got down there. If he mess around and got biscuits and some ribs, all you can eat, maybe between 12 and 6. Well, hey, you ain't got no scholarship, you got some skills, you may want to go to Southern Miss and holler at this dude. I can see that being very advantageous to somebody. But I would love to see it upset in this game. I mean, the Bulldogs, they should make them look like a JV squad, but we don't know. We don't know. It could be a turnover fest, but I can't base it off last year. This guy ain't coming here playing. This is the kind of game where 2-3 years from now, this dude coaching at Mississippi State. Like a crazy person, but he can move up off of doing good at Mississippi State. Now, this game I gotta see. We're gonna see what Deion's team is made of because Colorado is playing Georgia Tech, and I don't know if they're ready. Georgia Tech, that coach is offensive lineman, former offensive lineman from Georgia Tech. He's hard, man. I mean, even his smiles look painful, and when he laughs, it feels like he's hitting you in your chest. Georgia Tech is favored by 3.5, but Deion got a lot of new people on their field, and if they're not careful, you don't have Travis Hunter doing these circus catches. You don't have Shedeur knowing how to manipulate the extending plays, taking 8 seconds to deliver the ball to Travis Hunter. This could get ugly. Because one thing they do on offense, they keep it moving. Haynes King, he is like a dark horse Heisman candidate. So they're going to need all their swagger. They're going to need all the alien powers that Deion Sanders has because Georgia Tech defense, they're going to cause chaos. They're all about chaos. Yeah, because they bring the wood. So we're going to see. We're going to see. TCU and North Carolina is a game I want to see. I just want to see what Belichick's going to do. If he's going to is his team going to try to become something like the Patriots were? Are they going to be strong on defense with a real good running game? Is his wife or his girlfriend going to be like a cheerleader maybe? Or maybe she's going to be ahead of the cheerleading squad. I think UNC will pull this game off. They're a 2.5 points favorite, but That's kind of close, but they do have home field. And then is it time? Is it time for TCU to rear their ugly ass again and come back with these whipstick of transfers that have molded together and they become a dominant team that goes back to the playoffs? Would it be embarrassing for them to lose to the Horned Frogs? No, but I don't think because I don't think much of UNC football, to be honest. But if you go in there scared because it's Belichick, they'll lose. But I don't think that's gonna happen. And TCU, they took a beating in 2023, but they got there, and they couldn't take Michigan. But maybe they can get past UNC. I mean, they said 2.5. That ain't nothing. But Belichick's going to be surgical. He's going to be the same old, emotionless, looking like he just put some bodies in his trunk type of coach. Probably when he's going to do the cutoff sleeves, or he's going to wear the full Jordan attire without cutting the sleeves off. Or maybe Michael Jordan just made him something special. Like, yeah, we know you like to rip the sleeves off right before the game, so we just made these without sleeves. And then maybe Belichick still goes off, loses his mind, and slaps Michael Jordan in the mouth, said, "Well, I cut my own sleeves off, Mike. Don't need your help on the football field. Not at all." But I digress. South Carolina and Virginia Tech. We debated this one. South Carolina, they think they're playing on neutral field. South Carolina should win this game, but I don't know if they cover. South Carolina is favored by 8. But it's kind of it's a passion that, that's Beamer's old stomping ground. They don't want to get beat up by the old coach. I just don't think that I don't think it's going to just be an easy win. I mean, Frank Beamer is still working for the program. Is the old coach. Is Frank Beamer talking to the new coach about what his son likes to do, some tendencies? I don't think he'll rat think his own son out. Phil Fulmer probably would. But I don't think he would do that. But South Carolina's, I think the SEC pedigree will show up in this neutral site game. I think they should be able to take them out and get the victory. Let's see. Notre Dame and Miami. Notre Dame is favored by 2.5. I don't know what Carson Beck's going to do down there in Miami. I have no earthly idea. I know Notre Dame lost a lot. I do kind of silently cheer for Marcus Freeman, as I absolutely totally detest Notre Dame's football traditions and everything about it. I can't stand them. But they say, Miami have a solid defense right now. Where are they playing at? They're playing in. I really want Miami to join a conference. I'm about sick of them. I've been sick of them. I want them to join a conference. This don't make no sense. I think they're playing down in South Florida, so the Heat, if they got some heat, that may be something for them. But I know they're gonna run the ball. Notre Dame's gonna run that ball. Can that defense hold up to a strong running game? And that may just be enough to get them over the hump. Do we think that? I mean, they lost so many receivers at Miami. Does Carson Beck have anybody really that he can trust to throw the ball to? And can he execute? I mean, people never thought much of any of the quarterbacks at Georgia, but some went out and performed, and he was one of them. I still think Miami probably wins this game because Carson Beck's just going to be getting in the saddle. He won't be comfortable yet. And Notre Dame is going to be thinking in their minds, and it could be true, that they are back. They're here. Now they got Kelly out the way. They're here. They're ready to go. So they got a coach they can believe in. So we're going to see. This one right here, Louisiana and Clemson, Louisiana State, LSU and Clemson. Woo! I'm just going to say this. Brian Kelly has lost a lot of games in week 1. Cade Klubnik and LSU got Nussmeier. They're probably the best 2 quarterbacks coming into the season. And I said this last night, whichever quarterback wins this game is probably going to be the worst quarterback in the NFL. I don't know what it is. We're just making that up. But I think Clemson defense, I think they're ready to go. I think Dabo has an experienced quarterback. I think Klubnik got better over the last 2 years. I think it's going to be too much for Kelly, but and they can lose a close game. Clemson is favored by 4, but I said, what if LSU just go out there and get just blasted and lose by like 17 or 20? Is it going to be curtains for this dude? Because I think that's an unacceptable loss based on the talent they've had, the clamoring that goes down there. I'm going to try to reach out to this guy, Mr. Dugas. I want to get him on the show before the LSU game in Alabama and talk to him about just the state of LSU program and what they're really thinking. Like I said, you got to be careful firing coaches, because if you ain't replacing them with somebody with a lot of flash or a lot of pizzazz, your recruiting gonna turn to Bookie the Boot, worse than Bookie the Boot. Let's see who we got next. But yeah, I'm taking Clemson in that one. I really got a feeling they're gonna take a beating. Like more than 10, less than 14. Because you're going into the Death Valley. They call it the real Death Valley. I don't have an opinion either way, but things like Clemson is more ready to go. But we'll see. Tennessee and Syracuse playing in Atlanta. Tennessee could lose this game. They shouldn't lose this game. I'm taking Tennessee, but I'm not taking them to cover this 13.5. Quarterback, both of them have new quarterbacks starting. Syracuse lost theirs, but the quarterback they lost, Nico, that had to be upsetting. Not that he was being replaced by some bum, but the guy only took over really like in the spring. They lost a lot of other players there at Tennessee. Their defense. I just think Fran could actually be Coach Fran could be actually a better coach than Josh Heupel. Many people say he tried to go back to Oklahoma. I really don't think that. It sounds good, but I don't think he's trying to leave. But I think Coach Fran, we're gonna find out. I think he really can coach. I'm gonna take the points in Syracuse. I do expect Tennessee to win that game, but 13.5, I don't trust it yet. I gotta see it. Because that's saying they're gonna look better than they did with Nico or anybody else that's been there with Heupel. They're just gonna go tear him up. I don't think Syracuse is not. It ain't the Syracuse of 12 years ago. They are substantially better. So and the game we're already waiting for. I know some of y'all probably done logged off and like, man, what is he talking about? But Alabama and Florida State, they will play 3:30. Be there, be square. We're gonna beat them. If we favored by 13.5, we will win by more than 13.5. I'm thinking more like 20, 22. Florida State rebuild. They doing a rebuild from a 2-10 season. It's just cold. They keep on we rebuild and they reload. Now that's just cold for we not ready. The Alabama quarterback room is deeper than the entire roster for Florida State. Alabama's defense is going to turn FSU's offensive line or offense into a live action horror film. Kellen DeBoer doesn't typically have to worry about rebuilding in Alabama. We are installing culture, and he's going to reload going from one season to the next, but the ammo he's going to use this year, he's not going to use like let me learn ammunition. This year, his ammunition is going to be called ruthless. We're going to unload a lot of pain and a lot of confusion on people. They better realize that, because I'm just telling you, FSU's biggest win this decade will be convincing people that they are still an elite team. Alabama's biggest problem is just choosing which future NFL player that we're going to start. I'm just being serious, people. Ty Simpson, that quiet storm at QB, he's waited his turn. He's unproven, but he's not a rookie. He is a former 5-star. He has sneaky athleticism, and the boy's arm is elite, as mentioned by people outside of Alabama as he went to a couple camps this year. So they said we're probably going to go with a pass-first approach, but I do think you will see that running game. I'm thinking we can get to at least a total of 2,000 yards rushing, and predominantly with the running backs this year. DeBoer and Grubb going to be calling plays. Simpson's debut will be backed by the elite defensive mind. And even though J.M. Miller is out, next man up means just that. Going to take it to another level. Somebody say, oh, yeah, It's Me came back again. It's Me says Baylor got a good offense. I'm not gonna say I hope so, but things could get quite interesting. So Miller was steady. Like I said, I think he had hundreds of carries, no fumbles. So they have nobody even coming close to his stability. But his absence opens up a door to more explosive backs, like Richard Young, Daniel Hill's a big back, Kevin Riley, A.K. Deere, and a veteran that we brought over in the transfer portal, Draylen Washington. They bring a high upside and fresh legs. And Miller was a solid blocker as well. But this is Alabama. Depth isn't a luxury at Alabama. Depth is not a luxury. It's a lifestyle, folks. Don't get it twisted. We have people ready to go on this team. That blue chip ratio is going to be in full effect this entire season. And I was telling people the other day, I heard I think it was Ryan Grubb say this. He said, you have to have people ready to go. We're looking to play a 17-game season. I'll leave that right there. Let that sink in for you later. That biggest strength of the offense right now is the wide receiver arsenal. You know about Ryan Williams. He's a freak, flashes of greatness, all that stuff. Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, a lethal trio. But then you still got some doggone speed merchants in the doggone room. I mean, one thing I would tell them, like, they might well go and run the IV right now for the DBs at Florida State, because you're going to be running, son. You're going to be running. We're trying to work out some things in the short yardage. We're trying to work out some things in the red zone. But even losing Milroe's legs and the top two tight ends, keep your eye on Josh Cuevas. He will have all the necessary room to become an all-SEC performer, hands down. If you don't believe me, just watch. Alabama's running games in transition, but don't see that as some kind of vulnerability. And last year's woes, I lay it clearly at the feet of former offensive coordinator, now, what is he, tight end or quarterback coach, Slick Sheridan, who's going to be up in the booth, way away from the field, sitting next to Grubb, getting that man whatever he needs. The offensive line is stacked. It is stacked and packed, and we even got some depth there we can play with. Any weaknesses will be short-lived because we got come over here, send him in. Yeah, there you go. So the key is going to be, of course, dominate the line of scrimmage. Parker Brailsford might be the best center in the country. Future top 10 draft pick, Caden Proctor. People talking about he's not as good as he's whatever. Just, who I'm talking to. Send me the article that shows him not being a top 5 tackle in the NFL draft. Just do that. Good luck on your search. Cam Dewberry, he's going to be out there adding that muscle, that nastiness that we need at the other guard position. We just running behind those three on the left side. I don't know how you're going to keep them from getting 4 yards. I just don't know. Simpson just settle in, we'll get the run established. Simpson can settle in, he can start delivering. And then, FSU, they're just going to cave in like they did last year and give up 28 points real quick. So we got some breakout candidates on the offense as well. You got Rico, Flash for Cash Scott, and freshman. I've been telling you about him. Go watch the film. Lots here. He gone. Brooks. I mean, look, you can just put them in 10 plays straight down the field apiece and throw it to them twice. I guarantee they score. Because they just run faster than everybody else, and they actually know how to catch. And not to be left out. We got Cole. Cole going to be out there getting, third down reception. He going to be right. When Jeremy come out, Cole going to go in, look for Cole Adams to get the ball. The safeties going to the defense. Keon Saw, Bray Hubbard, Ball Hawks. Ball Hawks and Kane Womack's turnover hungry scheme. Finishing 5th in 2024. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 133 teams or 134 teams. I think there are 137 FBS teams this year. But we finished 5th in 2024 in turnovers. Expect aggressive play calling. Surprise contributors going to pop up from left and right. We're going to be showcasing talent all over the place. You know what the front seven going to do. Wreak havoc and just mess with people. all game long. But I'm going to run. I have to showcase some aggressive driving skills to make it to my son's kickoff. So I'm going to get out of here because, got to support the children. Got to support the children. So don't forget to give our brother a pound and just hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when I drop a video or when I go live. When I pop up on somebody else's show, I'll try to keep you informed. Tell your friends they can find me on here on YouTube, Tight Sports, the Alabama Football Megacast, and on Facebook. You can find me at Tight Sports. Now, you can find me sometime during the season. I'm going to get back on X. Put some stuff out there. I come in peace. I ain't trying to get all that smoke from the Yahoos. Shout out to B Sharp at Sharpshooters Podcast. Kangaroo Black, who's back. Barrel Mode, shout out to you. The Long Run with Piano Man, Rags and Fitness, Roll Tide to you all. And thank you all for making Alabama great always. Peace to the brothers at Auburn Addicts, Water Cooler Podcast, Bubba and the Old Man. I ain't seen Bubba in a minute. It's SEC season with my man Tez, Dustin, my boy, at the Up Tempo Podcast, coming straight out of Tampa Bay. The Huggy Beard himself, and Vandy Chris at the Golden Broom Podcast. These guys are a fine, fine, fine group. Upstanding, Crimson Tide, hating and doubting Americans. I don't see how they do it. But with that, we will see you next time, next Tuesday. We're going to I take that back. Saturday, I will go live somewhere between the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth quarter. Can't be doing the whole game this year because I got things to do. But I will come to you in the fourth quarter and we can end the game together. So we will be celebrating at that time. We will be celebrating this Alabama domination, the dominating performance of the day. And if you want to chime in, put something in the comment. Tell me what you're sipping on. Tell me what the recipe of the day was. Did you go with the mac and cheese or did you go with some kind of broccoli casserole to go along with the steaks? I mean, let me know. Sometimes people do the baked potatoes. Just let me know what you're snacking on. And we'll see you right there. I guess that'll probably be around, 25 and 6. And I will be here for that. And after that, we will see you at 7 p.m. on Tuesday for another episode of Around the Herd. And on Thursday, I have another episode Around the Herd comes in, but I'm just going to say it's going to be between 4 and 6 because I do not know, because JV is for me. I got to be there. They won't let me get away with not being there. Well, at least my wife won't. So I'm going to be there to support my child, either in hurrahs and cheers or in loving laughter. Like, are you okay, son? I gotta run the camera. But until next time, always remember, roll, tide, roll.